Wow. That was a first. What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Welcome in. I have no idea why my mic was muted, but welcome to show number 900 for the Bostonian versus the book. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel. We are live on our X Twitter. Someday we'll figure out what to call that thing. X Twitter at Boston versus the book. We are replayed on Sports Grid television at 10 p.m. Pacific time, and we always are available audio-wise wherever you guys get your audio podcast. Just go and search Boston versus the book, BVB, the Bostonian versus the book, whatever you would like to do it. Welcome to the 900th episode. That was the first time my mic was ever muted. In the 900 episodes of this show, my mic was never muted at the start. Funky and weird things happen. I don't know. But welcome to show number 900. We will talk a bit about the 900 episodes of this show here in a second. We do have the first ever giveaway that we're going to be doing for BVB hat and t-shirt combo. Stay tuned for details on how you can win that here in just 1 second. We will do grades today. So I am in the middle of grading my class at UNLV. And I thought, all right, because I am like neck deep in finals, in grading finals for my class at UNLV, I thought, let's do it for the NFL. I'm only going to do the teams that I gave an A to and teams that I gave an F to. The rest of the teams are in the middle, and I don't need to go through every team in the NFL. So let's talk about really good or really bad here during the opening line. We will talk about the NBA Cup today. Crazy night last night in the NHL. And if we have time, we'll get into some other things involving the games tonight. And it is a Wednesday. That means Evan Abrams and the Action Network's Week 15 primer is out. So we'll give you some betting trends for this coming weekend before the game tomorrow and the games on Sunday. There are some very interesting numbers. And remember, this is the last weekend that we do not have NFL football on Saturday. We get it on week 16, 17, 18. We start getting games on Saturday. So we have Army Navy on Saturday, and then we get next weekend into the NFL. And the games next Saturday are really good. So got a sprint now. We've had the marathon. Now we're into the sprint for the NFL here for weeks 16, 17, 18. But week 15, we'll take a look at some betting trends for us, things we can use to help us make better plays for this coming weekend. Okay, it is show number 900. I didn't know how to do this, to be frank. Okay, I wasn't really sure how I was supposed to acknowledge this because the anniversary, the 4-year anniversary of BVB is next week, next Wednesday. And so that's the origin, the start, the birth of the show. 2025, the year, is one that I want to recap, but I also do not want to recap. And so this has been like this swirling thing in my head for a while, and I don't know how to do it. I think the only way I can come to the air and come to the show and talk about it honestly and do what I normally do here is just to be honest and to tell you guys that I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to properly remember Dave and yet also do a show that is of the standard that you guys expect for BVB. And so I'm a little bit at a loss. I'm a little confused. I don't know if I want to do, like normally what I would have done for next week, I will have done a highlight reel of the year, and I will have put together a multitude of different clips from what we did this season, this year. And there were numerous things that we did, going back to the fall of last year, into football, heading into the spring in March Madness, heading into the summer, obviously, right? And then, Dave left the show at the end of June. He's been gone for 6 months off the show. And then Dave passed in September. And so, it's been, for those of you who are maybe new to the show, and there's been a lot of new people who have come over and started watching BVB, I always like to show you what the show was like over the course of 12 months, right? But I feel like that's going to be raw for the family and for Jessica and the kids to go and start putting pictures of Dave and videos of Dave out again, because this Christmas season is going to be really hard on them. Thanksgiving was hard enough. The first Christmas without your spouse and your dad, I don't know what what that's going to be like for them. So I'm trying to be sensitive. I'm trying to do the right thing, and that's often, paralysis by analysis when it comes to what I should do, right? I spend all this time thinking about the right way, and then I'm just stuck. So as of right now, I don't know what to do next week. I'll figure it out at some point, as we always do here, and with your help, hopefully. But I thought today for show 900, a cool thing would be to do a giveaway. We've never done a giveaway like this before. And so I'm going to give away a hat and a t-shirt because the Patriots are playing for a hat and t-shirt game this weekend. So I thought, okay, we'll do our own version of a hat and t-shirt giveaway. And so if you haven't bought a hat yet, or you haven't bought a t-shirt yet, I'm going to give you a chance to win it for free. And it's going to be very easy as to how you guys can win this. And I'm going to steal this idea from my friends at Betting Pros because I like the idea a lot. It's really easy. This is how we've done giveaways on the Daily Juice for a while. And so now we're going to do it here for BVB. If you would like to win a hat and a t-shirt from me, here is how you're going to do it. You must be subscribed to our YouTube channel, and you must be a Discord channel member. Okay? To join the Discord channel, it's very simple. It's thebvbshow.com, and just click on the link and it'll take you to our Discord channel. If you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and you are a Discord channel member, you will take a screenshot of your subscription to the BVB YouTube and your profile on Discord, and then email it to askthebvb@gmail.com. That's it. That's all you have to do. If you are already a YouTube channel subscriber, great. Just take a picture. If you're a Discord channel member, great. Just take a picture of your profile in our BVB Discord and email it to me. Okay. If you got to go ahead and have any questions, you can also email me the questions, askthebvb@gmail.com. But go ahead and enter it in, and we will pull the winner by our break at Christmas, which will be the 24th. So we got some time, so don't freak out on this, but we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers to the end for our YouTube channel for the end of the year. We are not far away. I think we're only like 30 subscribers away from 3,000. So this will be a little bit of a kickstart for us to do that. So very easy, very simple, no worries, simple, quick, easy. Okay. Has legal approved this giveaway? No, they have not. No, you have not. So, yes, we have 2,971. We're very close to getting to 3,000. So that's the idea. So we're excited for this giveaway. If you did not buy a hat or did not buy a t-shirt, or you want to win it, again, very simple, very easy. We'll give it away here in 10 days or so, somewhere in that range, for us to be given away. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, be a Discord channel member. Many of you guys in the chat are already there. Screenshot of both. Email askthebvb@gmail.com. That's our email address, and you will be entered to win a BVB hat and t-shirt combination that I will design. The hat might be, we're going to figure out with Corbin, but I'm pretty confident that we should be able to customize the hat. The hat should be a customized BVB hat like this, not one of the ones that are available on the store that are just, group ones. This will be actually, I think, a specific one that we can design. No promises on that. It's up to Corbin. Just FYI, we may have to throw you a little bit of a curveball on that. We're still working through the store, and Corbin and I talked for about a half an hour on the phone last night about plans and things as to how we're going to make this happen. They're up to their eyeballs. You guys, did an amazing job of coming in and grabbing a hold of this opportunity. And I am really, really happy. I mean, I'm really excited about what you guys have done here with the store, because I knew there'd be interest, and I knew we would have an opportunity to raise a lot of money for the Sherapan girls, and just make it a fun thing for everyone. And that's been a great thing to watch. I think we're up to 100 orders so far on this from you guys. So very, very cool. And again, If you haven't checked out the store, you can very easily do so by going to thebvbshow.com. That is the same place to go for the Discord channel link. So both those things, the store and Discord, can both be found by going to our website, thebvbshow.com. Click the link and you are in and you are good to go coming up. So very simple, very easy to go and shop. If you have not seen the store, just to go check it out and see what it looks like. You're looking for this logo, BVB Shop, official merchandise. Go ahead and click that link, and it'll take you directly to our store, which is being run by our friend Corbin, who is a brigade member, a viewer of this show, who currently told me yesterday that we have a lot of work to do. You guys have been incredible. You guys have really sent. His boss is really happy, by the way, because they didn't know what they were going to do. Like, it was a question like, okay, what is this guy? What's this show? And what's it going to look like? Well, you guys delivered in a week. You guys, and they can handle it. They've told me they can handle any denomination. They can handle any amount of business that we send their way. They can handle it. But, when you start a new venture, you don't know what it's going to look like. And frankly, this feels very similar to what happened back when the beginning part of the Daily Juice. If you're an OG Daily Juice listener to that podcast, you remember TJ and Cecilia when we did the first ever cookie giveaway, when that podcast hit 1 million listens. That was before we did video and anything for the juice. It was just an audio podcast, and we hit 1 million listens. When we hit 1 million listens, we did a giveaway for the Ronald McDonald House, where Celia and TJ in Chicago, they made cookies, and we sold those cookies, and all the profits went to the Ronald McDonald House. We overwhelmed them. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, we knew it was going to be busy. We didn't think it was going to be like that. And so I feel like the same way here with Corbin, and talking to him last night was like, I knew we'd be busy, but whoa, you guys really did a lot and really have stepped out and done a great job with this. So huge thank you. Huge deal. We need to bring back the cookies. Cecilia now cooks out of her house. So the cookies were pretty good. I would agree with that. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something. Maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe we'll do a BVB cookie giveaway. Maybe we'll do something like that, because we can run it through the store. So we could do that. So it's a good point. I don't think I have a picture of, do I have a picture of TJ? Let me see. I don't know if I have a picture of TJ. I don't think I do. I'm going through all your old hats pictures. Now I don't think I do. I don't think I've he's on my wall. TJ and Cecilia have a picture of them and me in Chicago at Wrigley. I have a picture of me with them on my wall in my house. But the BVB, what was the percentage in those cookies? What do you mean? What percentage was in those cookies? What, I don't understand. You mean money, or do you mean like special stuff? There was nothing special. They just were really good. She was good. She was Cecilia was a really good chef. She or baker. So she still does it though. They still do those cookies. So maybe we'll figure out something to do with that. In the way. Yeah, you guys are great. I'm just reading your of marijuana. Yeah, there was not marijuana in the cookies. We would have gotten a little bit of trouble for that, but Madeline was so young. I have a picture of Madeline holding up one of those cookies, the Daily Juice cookies that they designed. And Maddie was probably, she's 11 now, though. That was 2021. So that was 4 years ago. She was 8 when we did that. And then we did it again for 5 million listens. It was the first time was 1 million. The second time was 5 million. And that time we had to stop because we just destroyed their whole business. We just took over their entire business. So that's why we stopped doing that, because it got to be too big. But I think BVB's in the perfect little, window right now for us to do that. So after we get through the store, let's, all right, let's talk to TJ. He may be in the chat at some point. TJ's a brigade member. He watches from time to time. So that'll be exciting. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. That's pretty cool to see how that's going to wind up going. Let's grade some teams. Like I mentioned, I'm grading all these finals at UNLV. So grades are on my mind. Let's talk about A's and F's. Who's been great and who's been a failure? All right, let's get into this. Here is your criteria. Professor Perrault with a red pen showing up. I got teams. There's actually 8 teams. It's not 6, it's 8. I added 2. Here's your criteria. Expectation. What did we think of you going into the year? And that matters, okay? Your expectation level to me factored big into this. Performance. What's your record, right? How are you doing? What are you doing? How have you performed up to this point? And what did we think of you going into the year based on the performance, based on the expectation of your record? And then what adversity have you overcome this year? What have you faced? What have you been able to get past to be where you are? Okay. So in case we forget, let's talk about standings as to where these teams are. Okay. We have the Patriots, Steelers, Jaguars, and Broncos, who are all leading the AFC divisions. The Eagles, the Packers, the Bucks, and the Rams are currently leading the NFC divisions. Okay. Wildcard teams, we're going to work it all out. Okay. And many of these teams who are wildcard teams are currently in that B, C, or D range. And we're not going to grade everybody. Okay. I'm only doing the very good and the very bad. Okay. So both ends of the spectrum. Many of these teams are in between. Many of these teams would get B pluses. Many of these teams would get Ds, right? As to how their season goes. But I'm just going to the worst and to the best. And we're going to start with the worst. And the worst would be the Las Vegas Raiders. They get a full-fledged F from me for this season. If you remember, and let's go back to the summertime when we were talking about the AFC West as to what this division was going to look like, we said there was a chance that the Raiders would be 500 and in last place, that the Raiders would have a chance to be a competitive, competent football team with Pete Carroll at 73 years of age, bringing in Geno Smith, a guy who was expected to be a decent quarterback, not lead the NFL interceptions, that they had a defense that was going to be competitive with Max Crosby, with a secondary that was supposed to be decent, and a running game with Ashton Genty that was going to let them play tight games, that they were going to play 17-13 type football games. Run the ball, play defense. That's what we thought we were going to get out of the Raiders. Instead, we have a full-fledged dumpster fire here in the desert with Pete Carroll and the 2-win Raiders, who will be in the conversation for the number 1 pick in the draft for the rest of the season. And the win by the Titans last week was gigantic for them to get that W over the Browns, because now the Raiders are right there with a chance for the number 1 pick in the draft. You don't want the number 1 pick in the draft with a 73-year-old head coach. The reason why you hired Pete Carroll was because you thought you were going to be competitive out of the gate. You don't want Pete Carroll in a rebuild. You want a young coach who's cutting his teeth, who can figure out where the next 5 years will be. Pete Carroll's not going to be coaching the Raiders in 5 years. I'm not sure he's coaching the Raiders next year. So this team has been woefully disappointing, did not live up to expectations. This team has 2 wins on the season. This team has not dealt with adversity well at all, and they're probably going to get the number 1 seed. F. Second team to get an F, the Cardinals. They had a quarterback in Kyler Murray. They had a defense that people really thought was going to do something this season. And they had a schedule that was pretty conducive for them to be competitive. Jonathan Gannon was supposed to be this young gun head coach, and the Cardinals were supposed to be competitive in the NFC West. That this was the make or break year for this team, for the head coach and the quarterback. This was it. And everyone thought the Cardinals, with that defense, they were going to be a story to watch. Instead, they're 3-10, and the quarterback, Kyler Murray, is most likely gone. And the question is going to be about Jonathan Gannon as to whether or not he's going to hang around. This grade has a lot to do with expectations versus the actual team performance. 3-10 for the Cardinals is not what this team thought they were going to be after multiple seasons with Kyler Murray at the quarterback position, it was time for the Cardinals to deliver. And instead, they fell flat on their face. Number 3 of the 4 teams to get Fs from me, grade-wise. The Baltimore Ravens. 6-7. Sorry, kids. 6-7. The Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson at 6-7 is unbelievably bad. I mean, this team, this is an F. Yes, they might make the playoffs. I don't care. This defense has been a complete failure. A complete failure. Lamar Jackson has been banged up. I'll give it to you at times, but it's the defense that's been the failure for the Ravens. This is not where this team expected to be. Not with what's happening in Kansas City, not with what's happening in Buffalo. You have a head coach who is a proven commodity. If Lamar wasn't going to win the AFC this year, when was Lamar going to do it? When were we going to see it happen? If not now. And they're under 500. They're not in first place. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, and most likely they are not going to make the playoffs. They are most likely going to miss the postseason. If you look at the odds, it does not bode well here for the Ravens. They are minus 186 to miss the playoffs. To miss the playoffs in this year with the Chiefs looking like the team that they're currently looking like, which is the last team I am giving an F to, the KC Chiefs. This is an F season for the Chiefs. This is embarrassing. Expectations through the roof, obviously. They lost the Super Bowl last year. You have a division that's been difficult, but you have Travis Kelce back. You have Andy Reid back. You have Chris Jones back. You have Steve Spagnuolo back. You ran back the, quote, dynasty that you think you have. And instead, what do you get? You get a number where you are minus 850 to miss the playoffs. The KC Chiefs are minus 850 to miss the postseason. 100% that grade is an F. In the prime of Patrick Mahomes' career, to not be in the playoffs, to not make the bracket is inexcusable. If you want to talk about Mahomes as the greatest quarterback of all time, has he been hurt this year? Did he miss time? The Ravens have the Lamar excuse, right? The Ravens can go and say, well, Lamar Jackson missed a bunch of time, so that's why we weren't able, we weren't great in those games. They didn't have that in Kansas City. Mahomes hasn't been hurt. Mahomes has been playing every game. The problem is everyone else, whether it be relying too much on Rashee Rice, that when he came back off his suspension, that things were going to change magically for this offense, that one player, that one wide receiver was going to alter the entire season for Kansas City. That did not happen. Travis Kelce was basically playing on fumes at the end of last year. He was okay for the beginning part of this year, but now he's back to looking like a guy who's exhausted, who's tired, and, well, not that interested. The whole team looks disinterested in playing football now with 7 losses. KC Chiefs, you get a full-blown F for this season. F. On the flip side, let's talk about 4 teams that I'm giving an A to. You're not going to be surprised at the first team that I'm giving an A to. That would be the Patriots. I'm not giving an A to the Broncos. And here's why. Expectations. There is a very different level going into the season in Denver versus New England. If you remember, we talked to D-Bro and a bunch of other people about the Broncos and how good of a year they were going to have. I bet the over on the Broncos, 9.5 wins. Sean Payton is a championship caliber coach. Bo Nix, underneath Sean Payton, has been very good. This defense is the best defense in football, and they were last year on paper. Now, this year, it's not just on paper, it's with your eyes as well. The Broncos defense is ferocious. The Broncos have a gigantic home field advantage. So while the year has been very successful with 10 consecutive wins for the Denver Broncos, The Patriots were not expected to win the division. The Patriots were not expected to be in the playoffs. There were some people who said the Pats would win 10 games and they were laughed at. Okay. We got the receipts, guys. People laughed at them saying there's no way the Patriots will win 10 games. Well, they've won 10 games in a row, and the Patriots are now plus 1,000 or 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. They're the fifth option to win the Super Bowl, and they have the same odds as the Denver Broncos. Somebody still thinks the Buffalo Bills are going to win the AFC. Okay, sure. But the Bills could have been on this list as well as receiving an F. I just don't think it's fair because the Bills are going to be in the playoffs. And I think any playoff team, it's difficult to call a team, give them an F if they're going to be in the postseason. You might give them a D. You're not giving them an F. Patriots at 11-2 with an 11-2 record, they get an A from me. Number 2, and this might be a bit surprising. I think the Jaguars deserve an A for what Liam Cohen has done. I mean, this team, after the first month of the season, there were some real problems in Jacksonville, like some real issues with Jacksonville. And I was very down on the Jags. I was down on really the offense. The Hunter drafting, it didn't work. They were a lot of like really difficult questions that had to be answered about whether he can play offense or defense. But his first year has been fantastic. NFL.com has the Jaguars projected with a 97% chance of making the postseason. Jacksonville has made the playoffs 2 times since 2007, and they were 4-13 last year. They were 4-13 last year, and they're 9-4, and they're going to the playoffs. I think you have to give a ton of credit to both the coach and the quarterback for what they have done over the last 2 months to completely change the season, and they have the inside track to win the division. They're up by a game on the Houston Texans. A. Jacksonville Jaguars get an absolute A. Number 2 or 3, Chicago Bears. I mean, what Ben Johnson has done absolutely gets a solid A. The Bears, whether they're paper tigers or not, whether you think that they have been a beneficiary of a soft schedule or all the close wins. Look, if the Bears miss the playoffs, this will change to a B. But up to today, and that's what I'm grading on, right? I'm grading on what has happened up to today. And they lose on a last-second interception thrown by Caleb Williams on the road against the Packers, their arch rival. They were in that football game, and they fought hard. Again, what am I grading on? Okay, I'm grading on expectation, performance, your record, and adversity. Okay, that's my 4-part criteria for giving the Bears an A. Up to this point. Again, if they fall apart and miss the postseason, this is gone. But up to this point, the Chicago Bears are winning football games that they would have lost any other year but this year. They would have lost. Their passing game is broken. Their defense is overrated. Their quarterback might be also overrated in Caleb Williams. But up to this point, I have a hard time punching any holes into what has happened here with the Bears. And I've been very impressed with what the Bears have done. I mean, this is a team that I think you need to, at least up to this point, give them their props because they were horrible last year. They've been horrible for a while. I mean, this is a growth year. This is a big step up. They're 9-4. Okay. They're 9-4. That's a hell of a year. I think any Bear fan, if you told them in August, your team is going to be 9-4 in December, they would sign up in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds and go, oh my gosh, yes, we are completely signed up. And finally, not the Rams, but the Seahawks get the final A from me as to what they have done. The difference, the reason why is because of the fact that it's Sam Darnold playing quarterback and not Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has won a Super Bowl. Sean McVay has won a Super Bowl. There is a different expectation in Seattle than where there is with the Rams in LA. Okay. We don't know about Mike McDonald yet. We don't know about Sam Darnold, frankly, because Sam Darnold was laughed at last year in Minnesota. Everyone was like, come on, it's all Kevin O'Connell. Don't you know? I mean, this has got nothing to do It has nothing to do with the quarterback. It's everything to do with the coach, right? Well, how's that working out now? Because JJ McCarthy can't do anything with Kevin O'Connell, and Sam Darnold is still playing at a very elite level. The thing that makes this team so scary is that Mike McDonald's defense is becoming the best, and if not there already, the best defense in the NFL. They smack people, and they did it in the second half to Atlanta last week, where they outscored them 31-3. This defense is for real. This defense is ferocious. And I think if you are a fan of Seattle, look, I have the 14-1 ticket on them to win the Super Bowl. Expectation level was this team was going to be good, not this good. The adversity that they have had to overcome, they got beat by the Rams. They've had some questions, obviously. Sam Darnold's had a game, the Ram game, where he threw 4 picks. Like, they've had bad football games, but they've been able to bounce back, and things did not unravel when they lost that game against the Rams. And now they have a rematch coming up next week, which will be huge for the Rams and Seattle. The Rams have had a great year. I'm not downplaying it and saying, like, but I'll give them a B+. I give Seattle an A, given what we thought they would look like. I don't think anybody thought they were going to be in contention for the number 1 seed overall in the NFC, and looking like a team that could very well be close to home, not in home, but close to home for the Super Bowl. The Rams are the odds-on favorite to win it all. Another reason why they get a B+ and not an A. Seattle, 8-1. They are behind the Packers. Seattle gets an A so far for this season for being the third option to win the Super Bowl, and that is not where many people thought they would be. There is no Chiefs. There's no Ravens. The Bills are there. There's no Bengals. It's remarkable when you look at the Eagles. Like, look at that. Look at that list. Look at that list. Eagles are 11-1 behind the Broncos, Patriots, Bills. Behind AFC teams. The Texans are right there behind the Eagles. This has been a very different year in the NFL. The superstar power, the teams that we have talked about, and the teams we have expected to be good, some of them have been okay, but a lot of them have not. Okay? A lot of them have not. So we're giving the Raiders an F. We're giving the Cardinals an F. We're giving the Ravens an F. And we're giving the Chiefs an F. A's go to the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Bears, and the Seahawks. You guys can argue away in the chat as to who I got right and who I got wrong on that. But expectations, to me, factor heavily into where the team is today versus what we thought they were going to be in August. And all 4 of those teams that I gave A's to were not expected to be playoff teams or in playoff positions, because they are. The Bears might not make it. The Bears have a lot of fight to do here to get in. The Bears might miss it. The Jaguars are in. The Patriots are in. Be very surprising to see Seahawks miss, okay? That have to lose out, which I don't think they're going to. So, most of the teams, those 3 teams with A's, are in the postseason, and the Bears are in a playoff position at the moment to get there. We'll see how they factor in, but right now they're in position to make the postseason, and that in Ben Johnson's first year and Caleb Williams' second year, I think, is a gigantic deal for what's going on in Chicago, even though I think things might go a little south for them for the rest of the year. Let's talk about what happened last night. All right, what happened last night? NBA Cup, Knicks, Magic both win, and they both advance here to Las Vegas. I'll be curious if Magic fans will travel here for this. Desmond Bane scored 37 points as the Magic beat the Heat 117-108. That game went under. We hit that last night. That was part of one of our plays for Just the Picks. Brunson scored 35 points as the Knicks blew out the Raptors. We laid the 4.5 with the Knicks last night, 117-101. Knicks fans, I think, will be, and they are here anyway because New Yorkers are here in Vegas. But you got Brunson and Bane both going off. Orlando and the Knicks will play in the semifinal coming up on Saturday here in Las Vegas. And let me just tell you something. I'm not trying to sell you guys to come out, but here's the thing. If you are living in a frozen tundra of an environment at the moment, and that is most of you in the Northeast and in the Midwest, it is the perfect time to get on a plane and to fly to Vegas. We are dealing with unbelievable temperatures right now. It's 61. It's 61 degrees currently. But this weekend, we're going to hit the 70s. It's going to be like 68 to 72 degrees in Vegas this weekend. It will not rain in Vegas for the rest of 2025. This is the cheapest time to come to the desert all year. On top of the fact that there's a ton of rate cutting going on here in Vegas because people just aren't coming here anymore. People have decided not to come because they've been nickel and dime to death. I don't blame them for not coming here. But now that the rodeo is gone, there are no other big events besides the NBA Cup happening in Vegas for the rest of 2025. So if you are inclined, if the Lakers win today, more on them later in the show, if the Lakers win, there will be thousands of Laker fans here this weekend. They will pour out of Southern California and come on over to Vegas to watch this and to watch the semifinals. If they make the finals on Monday, they'll stay for the whole weekend, stay till Monday and watch the Lakers play on Monday in the NBA Cup final. It's a really good time to come to Vegas, even not just for the NBA Cup. Right after Christmas, the week between Christmas and New Year's is the cheapest time all calendar year to come to Vegas, and the weather is going to be beautiful. So if you ever had like dreamt of coming to Vegas, I'm telling you right now, the best time to come to Las Vegas is right now or right after Christmas. You got to get out by the 30th though, because once the 30th hits, the room rates skyrocket because New Year's here is Looney Tunes, like absolutely Looney Tunes. So you got to get out of here by the 30th. But if you come like the 26th to the 30th, you can get into any restaurant. You can see any show. It's a ghost town here in town. And the weather is going to be gorgeous. Gorgeous. Nobody wants to go to LA. Depends on the person, I guess, right? Depends on the person. 75 the rest of the year in LA. Don't come. Well, that's going to be true. Recon, you guys have got some great weather too in Southern California. It's, my God, -20 in Chicago at kickoff against the Browns on Sunday. Holy mother. 1 in Windham, New Hampshire. Feels like -6. Great. I'm headed there in 2 weeks. Great. This is going to be brutal. So, if you are inclined to get out of the cold weather, coming to Vegas for the NBA Cup this weekend is probably not a bad idea to do that. 2 more games coming up tonight that we'll get into here in just 1 second. Last night in the NHL, a couple of wild games. We had 4 games featuring tying goals in the final 15 seconds of regulation. Like that was wild last night. I mean, that's one of those things where for the first time in NHL history, there were 4 contests that featured game-tying goals within the final 15 seconds of regulation on the same day. I was watching one of them. I was watching the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I'd already lost the bet because I had Vegas in regulation, but they tied the game up where they had a power play and they pulled the goalie. It was a 6-on-4 situation for Vegas up against the Islanders. Now, the Islanders won the game in a shootout later on, but Vegas got the point by scoring in the last 15 seconds against that one. Colorado's Cale Makar came through with a power play goal with 8 seconds left. Connor McDavid got the equalizer for the Edmonton Oilers with 2 seconds left against Buffalo. And Anaheim, with 1 second left against Pittsburgh, scored the game-tying goal last night. So far, the NHL has had 372 close contests, which is defined as a 1-goal margin or 2+ with an empty net goal. It's the most at this stage of a season in league history, according to NHL research. So we've seen a very competitive season in the NHL and a really wild ending to the games last night here. Addison with the call on the third period draw. Absolutely. Plus 350. Heck of a call on the Golden Knights and the Islanders game. I mean, 4-4. I'm not sure anybody thought 4-4 was going to be there. But that was a crazy tire for the Golden Knights to get that game into overtime. They lost it in the shootout, but they got the point because of that. And 100% credit to Autos. If you guys aren't following PSU Auto, OTTO, not AUTO, but OTTO on X Twitter. You should absolutely be doing that. His sheets are absolutely a must, 100%. They are a must. I look at it literally every day. Every time he posts those, I look at them. You look at trends. You look at streaks on both positive and negative, gift streaks, overs in the first period. I mean, he breaks them all down. He does a phenomenal job for the NHL. If you're betting hockey, you would 100% have to be following him. Yeah, got to be betting the draws. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, given how close the games are and how many overtime games we're seeing. So, the books will adjust, but right now you're getting 3-1 on most days with the books for draws. So, yeah, the ice guys are good too. I would agree, Edison. The ice guys are tremendous. Once we get through football, clearly we'll go and talk more hockey, and we'll get the ice guys on. We'll get Otto on. We'll get a bunch of people covering hockey. It's almost time for a check-in with Casey in Boston. So we'll probably see what she's up to with Casey Hudson from Nesson. So we'll get her back on the show, talking hockey and whatnot. So, but it's been very, very competitive over the last couple of weeks here in the NHL. It's been a lot of fun to watch as this is all kind of played out. So we'll just do some hockey coming up here in a little bit. Ooh, 4-game round robin tonight. What 4 games? What 4 games are you playing? What sides? Put it in the chat, JPC. See what you're playing. See if people want to. I mean, that's where Addison put the draw in the chat yesterday and made some people money who traveled or who trailed his plays last night. Yes, Casey's phenomenal. She's tremendous. Huge fan of hers. Okay. It is Wednesday. That means it's time for the Action Network's Evan Abrams Week 15 primer, which he puts out just unbelievable nuggets for somebody like me who is a big-time trend better. I love seeing these numbers. I love seeing the trends. Full disclosure, does it mean anything for the games? No, it means nothing, but it's fun. It is a confirmation bias exercise. So people get mad at me when I put this stuff up. They're like, why do you care so much about what happened previously? It has no bearing as to what's going to happen on Sunday. And I say, okay, we are trying to predict the future. And oftentimes what happened in the past can help us predict the future. Is it a foolproof method? No. Does it hit every time? Hell no. Do we feel like we've got some level of information working at our disposal when we use this information to bet on what we want to bet on? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into it. The Patriots and the Broncos are both home dogs this week. They have both won 10 games in a row. Since 1980, we've only seen 3 home dogs on a 10-plus game win streak in the history since 1980 in the NHL, in the NFL. So we're talking 44 years where we've seen this happen a grand total of 3 times. Only 1 time has it happened with a starting quarterback who was the actual starter, meaning backups weren't in the game. Because normally a good team goes on the road, they're facing a backup quarterback, thus the home team is a dog. So it is weird that it's both Bo Nix and Drake May, and they are both catching points from the opponent coming to town this week. The Packers going to the Broncos and the Bills going to the Patriots. Don't really get it. I don't think it's right, but in the Packers-Broncos game, the reason is Matt LaFleur. He has been absolutely dominant in December. We talked about this last week. He is 21-4 straight up. He is 14-10-1 against the spread in December as the head coach of the Packers. Packers are laying 2.5 points now at the Broncos. People are betting the Broncos because they don't trust Bo Nix. I wouldn't trust Bo Nix. That's why I didn't give Bo Nix in Denver an A. I don't trust Bo Nix. I just don't. He's having a very good year, and he's a very good quarterback at home. Not that great on the road, but he's a very good quarterback at home. And he's at home this week. And that defense against Jordan Love, and that defense against the running game, if the Packers can't run the football, they're going to have a hard time scoring on Denver. So this number should be pick. The Patriots and the Bills should be pick. Not really sure why we're laying points here on the road for both the Bills and the Packers, but it does give you a pretty good opportunity to take a home dog in the Broncos and the Patriots. And frankly, those are the sides. You should be betting the Broncos. Sorry, you should be betting, the Broncos and the Patriots. I think the books know that. Excuse me. Sorry. I think the books know that. So there's a little bit of a trap that people are talking about. Moneyline Patriots, moneyline Broncos. The Panthers are favored against the Saints. How about this streak? The Panthers haven't won or covered the spread in the regular season or the postseason in a game that they were favored since September of 2021. In fact, they have lost 11 straight football games when they are favored. 11 straight. And they are favored on the road at the Saints coming up this weekend. And the Saints are coming off of a win over Tampa Bay. As someone who has a ticket on the Bucs to win the division, I am pulling hard for the Saints to win that game this weekend. That loss to New Orleans was really costly for Tampa Bay. You can't lose that game at home to New Orleans. They were 7.5-point favorites. Can't happen. Like, it just simply cannot happen. And frankly, it had never happened before. Baker Mayfield going into that game against the Saints as a 7.5-point favorite in 121 career starts. Baker Mayfield had been 11-0 straight up as a 7-point or more favorite. It's the worst outright loss in the career of Baker Mayfield last week, 24-20 to New Orleans. So I am desperate for the Saints to do the same thing here to the Panthers. Bet the Saints, please. I need them to win the game outright. Forget going ahead to cover. I need a win. I need an outright win here for the Saints up against the Panthers to make it 0-12. But Baker Mayfield was 11-0. The Panthers, 11 straight losses as a favorite in the NFL. If you want to bet trends, that's a pretty good bet, a pretty good trend to bet. 11 straight. It's crazy. They haven't covered as a favorite. They haven't even won as a favorite. So, like, if they're like a 6-point favorite, they don't cover, but they win the game. They lose the game outright. When they are favored, it is literally the kiss of death for the Panthers. And on the road as well. They're road favorites. Yeah, bet the Saints. Bet the Saints this week. Jaguars are laying 12.5 points against the Jets this week. That line of 12.5 would be the biggest line of Trevor Lawrence's professional career. I'm not sure I want to bet on the Jags, but I think the only bet is to bet the Jags. The Jets, who's playing quarterback for the Jets this week? What incentive do the Jets have to go to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars? None. If this was Tyrod Taylor, like it should have been last week, I bet the Jets the last 2 weeks catching 3 points at home because of Tyrod Taylor. He got hurt in the first quarter and the whole game went to crap, and Miami boat raced the Jets at home. I would expect the Jaguars to do the exact same thing here to the Jets on Sunday, to just blow them out. CJ Stroud has made 46 career starts in the NFL. This number against the Cardinals this coming weekend will be the biggest line as a favorite at home in the career of CJ Stroud. 9.5 points. This is the week of monster spreads in the NFL. And what's funny to me, I think this is the week you lay the points. I think this is the week where the public, I think anybody can feel confident in betting. The teams are still focused. The weather could come into play at certain games, not this one, obviously, but there's weather in certain parts of the country that will benefit the home teams. I think travel is starting to wear down some teams and making them tired. A lot of teams, like the Cardinals, like the Jets, are playing with backup quarterbacks against teams trying to keep themselves in a playoff position, like the Texans and the Jaguars. You have the Colts going on the road with We don't know who's playing quarterback yet, but it very well might be a 44-year-old grandfather playing quarterback against the Seahawks on the road, laying 13.5. I think this is because the books are trying to get the professionals to take the dog. And how many points do I have to give you so you feel comfortable betting the dog? Here it's 9.5 points. And yes, you could say, wait a minute, hasn't Jacoby Brissett been really good against the number? He has. But this defense for the Texans is no joke. I don't think the Cardinals will score. It's the same thing with the Colts. It's the same thing with the Jets. Like, the number is big, but I'm not betting the over in the game because, well, what happens if the team like the Jags or the Texans, they could score 40 and then they cover the game themselves, basically. So I'm not touching totals in those games, but I'm not taking a dog. I'm not going to be sitting there with a ticket, on the Jets at 12.5, praying for a last second field goal and that Pete Carroll type coaching move bails my ass out. I'm not doing that. So the only move is to go ahead and lay a big number. And that could be scary, that could be scary to do that, but I'm comfortable laying a big number. I'm laying a big number here with a bunch of these teams like Seattle, 13.5 point favorite. This is the biggest number for Sam Darnold ever. However, Sam Darnold, when he's been a favorite of 6 points or more, it's happened 11 times in the NFL for games he has started. He is 11-0 straight up, 9-2 against the spread. He covers big numbers, more than a touchdown. Sam Darnold is a guy you back. Seattle is a team you back, regardless of who's playing quarterback for the Colts. I don't care. I don't care if it's grandpa or it's not grandpa. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Bet Seattle. Colts are in serious trouble with the quarterback position. And frankly, this is a punt. Like, if you're the Colts, you just say, fine, like we're going to get through. They might play. I was talking to someone yesterday who I respect a lot, whose opinion I respect on Twitter. And they're saying that don't be surprised if you have the fourth quarter set aside for Phillip Rivers, and you just say, it doesn't matter what the score is, just put him out there to get some game reps. Like, don't subject him to the first quarter version of the Seahawks defense. Say it's the fourth quarter where the game's like 40-10, and you put Rivers in there to look at the speed, to get accustomed to playing. And then next week, in week 16, you have him start and you have him be the quarterback in week 16, 17, and 18, and hope that you can get 2 wins of the next 3 games. You get to 10-7, and you hope that's enough to get a wild card spot. It's a lot of ifs, maybes, and buts in that conversation, but it's possible. Not impossible, possible, but tough. Sean McVay, get this, in December, 27-11 straight up, 26-11-1 against the spread. The Rams have won 9 games in a row in the month of December where they play extremely well under Sean McVay. Since the start of the 21 season, Sean McVay is 16-3 ATS in December. They are at home against the Lions. I would feel very uncomfortable as a Detroit fan going into this game coming up on Sunday, given this record for Sean McVay. He's got Matthew Stafford. He's got arguably the best offense in football and a defense that is good enough to win the whole damn thing. With the Seahawks with a layup win. The Seahawks will have 11 wins. Okay, they're beating the Colts. So they're 11-3. So now, if you're the Rams, you got to keep pace. You got to win this game. I don't think the point spread matters in this game. If the Rams win, the Rams cover, or the Lions win the game outright. I don't think this is a 3-point win one way or the other, but I think the Rams might be in trouble. However, we'll talk about this more on Thursday and Friday. Remember Jared Goff's record indoors. Jared Goff and Dan Campbell indoors. They are very good indoors. So I don't think you got to worry much about point spread here. You can lay the 6 with the Rams. I think they'll cover. Or the Lions win the game outright. To fast forward real quick. Secondary's toast. That's tough. You're a Lions fan. That's not the offense you want to be going up against. That's for sure. And finally, this is on Monday, but I think you can bet this now. I think the Steeler line is wrong. I think it's wrong. Tua is horrific outdoors. Tua has thrown so many picks this year that he's happy that Geno Smith exists, or we'd be talking about Tua and all the picks all the time. But on Monday Night Football, Mike Tomlin is a machine. The weather in Pittsburgh is going to be freezing cold. This is the Dolphins and Tua outdoors in weather. Not good. This is the Dolphins in Mike McDaniel in prime time, where they suck, up against Mike Tomlin, who's 22-5 straight up, 11-1 straight up at home in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. And the Steelers, in their last 22 actual Monday night games, because one of those games was called Monday Night Football, but it actually wasn't played on Monday night. 22 straight home victories for the Steelers since 1992. One of our friends, I'll let him remain nameless for now, but because I hate when people do this, but I think he might be right. He's calling this the bet of the year. This is the bet, the game of the year, and the bet of the year is the Pittsburgh Steelers laying 3.5 points against the Miami Dolphins, and I'm not sure he's wrong. I don't like doing these games. I don't like doing these situations where you go and say game of the year, because I don't play games of the year, but I think he might be right. If he's right on Monday, I'll say who it is on Monday. I'll give him his props. Or Tuesday, I guess. I think he's right. This might be the bet of the year. Steelers minus 3.5 might be the bet of the year. It's McDaniel in primetime. It's Tua in the cold. It's Tua outdoors. And it's Tomlin on Monday night. Like, I'm a trend better. Every single trend would take you to the window to go all in on the Steelers against the Dolphins, laying 3.5 points. Regardless of the injury to Aaron Rodgers, regardless of the defense, regardless of how well the Dolphins have been playing this year, everything's going to roll from the weekend into Monday. It's a primetime game with a big ticket team like the Steelers, but I think you can play it now here on Wednesday. Play it now before that number climbs. I would expect that number is going to climb, but I know, look, Pittsburgh at home, just saying, Pittsburgh at home. This is the game. Okay. This is the game. If you are inclined, the Circus Survivor people are listening. Yeah. It's not Adam Bjorn. No, it's not Adam. Adam doesn't do play, but I will look to talk to Adam about this though. Looking forward to seeing what's going to, it's not Chris Mack either. No, this is someone who's been on the show before. Chris has too, I guess. Chris Mack's been on the show before too, but I don't think it's the wrong thing to call it this. It looks like the easiest bet of the year. Okay. Yes. Better than Dallas minus 3 against the Raiders. Yes. Because that game was still on the road. Like, that game was still here. So Dallas was still on the road at Allegiant. So this is at home for Pittsburgh. And there's weather. There was no weather at Allegiant. This has weather implications. So it makes it easier for me to lay it with the Steelers because of the weather. I mean, it's every trend. If the Dolphins were to cover in this game, they will buck every single trend that's out there against them. If they win the game outright, they completely blow up every trend. I mean, again, they've won every game. The Steelers have won every game on Monday Night Football. It's Thursday Night Football that they stink. They dominate on Monday night. 22-5 on a Monday under Tomlin. At home, they're 22-0 since 1992. They lose on the road. They still win on the road. They still win on Monday night on the road. 22-5 on Monday night is pretty good. But 22-0 straight up since 1992 is ridiculous. They're an auto fire. That's an auto play. Steelers Monday Night Football up against the Dolphins. We got time to get into it, but I'll tell you right now, it's not a bad play. Bet it now before it moves at 3.5. If you guys are watching live, we have just the picks and other conversations to be had in bonus time. If you're watching on the replay, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Go and enter the contest. Go watch the beginning part of the show in case you missed it, but we're giving away a hat and t-shirt before Christmas. We'll talk about more tomorrow, but you guys can go and do that. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. If you guys are live, bonus time now. I get it. No faith in the Steelers, but that's why the number's 3.5. Okay. That's why the number's 3.5, because people are afraid. Like, I'm scared of the Steelers. Don't think you need to be. Let's make some bets. Okay. These numbers have moved a ton. Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet. If you guys want to check out what they got for the NBA, it's pretty cool. Prop bet cheat sheet can be found on the Betting Pros app for the NBA, or you can go to bettingpros.com/props to get the prop bet cheat sheet to see what they like for tonight from a prop bet perspective with the NBA Cup. But I have bet the under in this first game for OKC and Phoenix. Now, these two teams played about a week ago, and the game went over by 18 points. However, I was watching a podcast by Matt Moore of the Action Network last night, and he had a really cool stat that in the quarterfinals, the under is 10-3, including the two games last night that both went under. So we're 10-3 to the under in quarterfinal games. And OKC is the best defensive team in basketball, but Phoenix is 8th in points allowed per game. And while the Thunder could very well blow out, and they're favored by 14.5 points, they could blow out Phoenix in this game. My thought is, well, a blowout factors into the under, because how many points? I mean, the Thunder aren't going to go and score 140 points against Phoenix. They don't need to. Just win the game and they come to Vegas. So the first move was to take the points with Phoenix. But given the margin of victory, and it's number one, it's 16 points a game for the Thunder, which is ridiculous. They just kill people. I'm not going to be sitting there sweating out free throws at the end of the game, praying for the Suns to cover a 15-point, 14-point margin. So I think the best way to go is to say, okay, how many points will Phoenix score? I don't think they score more than 100. So if I'm starting with 100, it's a 115 to 100 type win here for the OKC Thunder. And so I'm playing the under. The first move was to the over. I'm playing the under. I got 225.5. It's now 226.5. You can go ahead and jump on that if you want. I'm going under OKC and the Suns tonight in the first game for the NBA Cup in the Western Conference. I have two plays for the late game, and this number is gone. Look, I thought the game would fall in the 240s. I played over 236.5 for the Spurs and the Lakers. The Lakers are 10-0 this year at home to the over. The number now is 241. Like, it is completely shot up. And I always find it funny when this happens, because people get mad at me when this happens, because I bet overnight. And so I do the daily juice and I put it out, and I have 236.5. The number was creeping up to 237 and 237.5 last night as I was doing the juice. And then people wake up and they go watch the podcast and the number's gone, and they get mad like I'm the one that moved it. Like, that number's gone. Well, no shit, the number's gone. Like, what do you want from me? It's not my fault. I'm playing trends like everybody else, and that number was too low. 236.5 was too low for a Spurs team that can score. The Lakers play no defense with LeBron James. He's a completely defensive liability, but it's all about the offense with Luka and LeBron on the court. And so we're going over. We're playing the over, 236.5. Or I don't know how high I would go. That's up to you. Well, Matt, how high would you go? I don't know. I played over 236.5. That's a number I wanted to play. Take your shot. I thought the game would fall in the 240s. Where in the 240s? I don't know where in the 240s, but if it lands at 240, I win. You lose if you go over 241. So I can still be accurate with my handicap. And yet, if you bet late, sometimes it's best not to bet at all, because there was a number available at one time when this game was put up. You could have bet a much better number. It ran on you and you just let it go. You just say, hey, okay, get the next one, right? It's like a bus. Just get the next one. Not that big of a deal. Okay. Oh, Ish got the same number this morning. Okay, that's good. So this morning he was up. Yeah, and Anthony did too. Same number this morning. So it was there. It just is no longer there. People woke up and went, oh, crap, over. Spurs, Lakers, over. Go ahead and bet the over. It might fall under, okay? It might fall under, FYI. There's no guarantee that that's going to happen. But I am going to lay the 5.5 with the Lakers. That number also is gone. That number now is 7.5. This number is gone. I bet this last night at 5.5. Because I do think the Lakers are going to win the game here, because I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game, which favors LA. There's no Wembanyama here in this game, and I think that it could be a huge game for Luka, and I do believe that LeBron wants to play again in the NBA Cup. LeBron wants to own a team here in Vegas. So if he's in the NBA Cup and in the NBA Cup final, LeBron can talk all about those things. He puts his name out here in Vegas. It's good publicity. There are tons of Laker fans in Vegas. There's tons of Laker fans that are going to come on over from Southern California to watch the games on Sunday and Monday. It matters to LeBron. It matters to the Lakers. I expect an A+ effort, and I do expect a big win here for the Lakers tonight against the Spurs. Favorite and over for the second game here. Favorite and the over for the Lakers and the Spurs. So I like under 226.5 for OKC and Phoenix. I like over 236.5 for the Lakers and the Spurs, and I'll lay the 5.5 here for the Lakers coming up here for tonight. I'm not going to play any prop bets today because I don't like playing props when there's only 2 games on the NBA slate. One, it's a smaller slate, less games to pick from, harder to determine what to bet. I don't mind betting Luka over points. I don't mind betting over Luka points, rebounds, and assists. I think Luka has a big game today. So if you want a prop, you can shop around and find a prop. You can do that. But I'm not jumping up and down about getting involved with prop bets with only 2 games. I don't bet NHL props, so that kind of limits me. So I got nothing for you here. We lost it last night. We're 0-1 on the week. The prop bet of the day yesterday missed for Davion Mitchell. I needed that assist number to go down. I think he ended with 11 assists. He had 11 points and 11 assists. So he ended up with 22 points, rebounds, and assists, or 23. So he went over the 18.5. So again, only 2 games. I don't like it. So we're going to skip the prop bets coming up here for today. Let's talk favorite thing about today. Oh, yeah. The small NHL slates can be great from a betting perspective. It's an easier handicap. I'll give you that on that. Favorite thing about today, we finally have been able to do this. A giveaway. We've been talking about doing giveaways for so long. And in case you missed the beginning part of the show, this is your chance to win a BVB hat and t-shirt combination. The Patriots have a hat and t-shirt game coming up this weekend. So I thought we'd do a hat and t-shirt giveaway ourselves. You must be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and you must be a member of our Discord channel. If you are already, or if you are going to go join today, take a screenshot of your subscription to the YouTube channel and your profile on Discord and email both of them to me, askthebvb@gmail.com. We will pull the winner right before we leave for Christmas. So you have a couple of weeks to do this. It's currently the 10th of December. We'll pull it on the 24th. So you have 2 weeks to get this done, and we'll give it away for a hat and t-shirt coming up. So looking forward to you guys doing that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, be a Discord channel member. Both those things will be beneficial to you in the future, as well as being entered into the contest. So it's not just a completely self-serving thing. There's reasons for this. Askthebvb@gmail.com. Send me the email and you are entered. That's all you have to do. Simple, easy, no worries to be entered in to pull the winner. We'll do so coming up here later on in about 2 weeks' time. My name is Matt Perrault. Thank you guys for watching. Tomorrow, it's a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday. Where in the world will Adam Bjorn be? We'll get to Adam. We'll get to all the numbers, all the line movements, all the bets. Big game on Thursday night football tomorrow night. Bucks and the Falcons. Must-win game for Tampa. We'll get into that. And then the full slate of games, Army, Navy, and the NFL slate for the weekend coming up tomorrow with Adam Bjorn. Hope to see you all back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time for the Thursday, a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday, BVB.